Hey, alright, we're live right out the gate. Hope y'all are doing well. Sorry I didn't go live at the original time at 8:30 like I had intended. Unfortunately, my breakfast didn't get here because the restaurant in question was closed. Restaurant. I was getting Starbucks sandwiches or a sandwich from Starbucks, and the one I ordered from was closed because their lockdown is still here in Malaysia. And you know, before we get on topic, something to bring up, and it kind of relates into what I want. The first little tangent I want to go on today. But shout out to everybody that's popping in the chat here. Who let the bulls out? Steve Willits. Hope you guys are having a good day. I find it crazy that here in Malaysia, there have been rather 6,000 cases total, just over, and only 100 but still, only comparable America, only 100 some deaths. I think it's 107, 108 deaths. Meanwhile, America has over 80,000 deaths now and 1.5 million infected. I think I made a post, or I said in one of my recent videos, or maybe it was a post on Twitter. I can't really remember. But I know I mentioned somewhere on one of my social media profiles that I think that this is, by June it's going to be 10 times. I think I said like 3 million by June. I think I might have lowballed it. I think I might have been being conservative because I didn't want to be real fear mongering. But because what we're seeing now, it seems like 5 million is even possible. So we'll see what happens. But off the topic of, still on this general topic of, that virus that has everybody's attention. No, Stefan, I am not in Kota Kinabalu. I am in Kuala Lumpur. Here's a view from my balcony here. I'll just rotate it for you guys real quick. But yeah, I'm in Kuala Lumpur. Been staying in a pretty nice hotel here for just over a month now, and just had to extend till the 9th now. So now Malaysia's lockdown is being extended until my birthday. Yay! So I get to be on lockdown for my birthday. I'm sure that there's some people out there in the chat, or my viewers, that have had to spend their birthday on lockdown, so I will feel your pain. I will feel your pain. It's gonna really suck since I'm, on lockdown on the other side of the planet from everybody I know and love, aside from my girlfriend, who I still can't connect with, right? But yes, Bearable, or Who Let the Bulls Out? I am a Gemini, bro. June 6th, 6/9, so it's like, the symbolism's just perfect for Gemini, it's beautiful. I want to be a baller shot caller, Sammy the Bulls. I don't want to be right. I want to stop being right about that. But I want to get a little conspiratorial today. I want to go off on something that I'm probably gonna, at least I hope, I'm probably wrong on. But I was talking with my mom maybe a week ago now about topic, and shout out to you, Mom, since I'm sure you'll be watching this. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to any moms that are watching this stream, but especially mine. Sorry to all you others that are watching, but mine's just the best, But I keep going off tangent, or off topic, what I want to go on. But what me and my mom were talking about a week or two ago now is the strangeness of what we're watching in regards to America, how America's dealing with the big thing that I can't, the virus that I can't name, the virus that shall not be named. And I say that because it's really bizarre that during a hurricane, we'll have a national emergency. Louisiana gets hit by a hurricane. One state gets ravaged by a hurricane, and yet the whole nation is brought on board. You declare a national emergency. A national state of emergency. We have a global pandemic, so national especially, and yet it's not a nationwide state of emergency. Instead, states are left to fend for themselves. Many now, as a result of this, are going bankrupt. Many states are going bankrupt as a result of having to pay for this pandemic out of their already, shallow pockets. Because even though America's a rich country, most states are either broke or many are already on the verge of bankruptcy, if not in bankruptcy. Like Pennsylvania is a commonwealth. It's essentially already owned by the federal government. And so this isn't what me and my mom were talking about. Is it's really bizarre that this seems to be a case, or that the federal government, who loves to get involved in yours and my life, and take power as much as they can, and seize the opportunity as much as they can, they aren't right now in this situation where they could absolutely take federal control of most aspects of state life. Why? Well, aside from being able to buy out states, bailing them out when they go bankrupt here, you guys are going to hear people driving by, obviously. Apologize for that if it gets too loud or distracting, but wanted to give you guys a good view instead of just like seeing the inside of my room. But instead of not just them bailing these these states out, I think that it's meant to sow distrust, or a lack thereof, a lack of trust in your state, your local government, so that the federal government, in a month or so, however long they decide to wait, now that the lockdowns are ending on a state-by-state basis, can come in and say, it's our turn now. Don't worry, we'll take care of you, America. And I think that this is it seems to me like it's preparation for creating a more thoroughly centralized state. A lot of people, myself included, will say that America, it's democracy is an illusion. And I don't think that there's many free-thinking Americans who don't believe that democracy in America is an illusion. We have a two-party system that only appeals to about 60% of Americans total. In other words, the third party is larger than either of the other two parties. Third-party voters who are predominantly, we all almost by and large share almost all the same political views, especially when you compare us to the right or the left, and yet we are the ones who are disenfranchised. We, the silent majority. And that's why we're the silent majority, because, even though there's a lot of us who are vocal, plenty of individuals in social media and whatnot, third party, very vocal, libertarians, yet we're silent because we have no say in politics. We have no say in American democracy. And I think that what we're witnessing is a transition further away from democracy and more towards federalism, or towards, a republic. And it's very strange, actually, because, even though I understand that America has technically been a republic since its early days, we typically identify ourselves as a democracy, because that's what's inherently valuable about our republic, is that it's a democratic republic. And yet now I've been noticing a lot more on social media, on the news, that it's promoting the republic aspect, which, there's countless examples of republics throughout history that are not democratic, at least not in the way that we as Americans view democracy. They're oligarchies, they're authoritarianism. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, right? It's the Republic of the Congo, but they pretend they're democratic, right? Same way that we do, only now they're changing it. Tonto says, and social media censors your opinion in case you thought It was a tool you could use to express said opinion. Exactly. Anybody who dares to step outside the norm, yeah, get ready. You're going to be censored. You're going to have your YouTube videos flagged. Nobody's going to be even advertised that you're going live. And you have to just hope that, you know, your 37 viewers are appreciate your content so much that they're out there sharing it on Twitter, on their accounts, and propagating it because everybody knows YouTube and Twitter are not going to propagate this. And I do appreciate everybody that tunes in, everybody that's hit the like. Thank you so much. Code word, shout out quickly to everybody else who hopped in here because I saw a bunch of new people. Code word, hope you're doing good, brother. Thanks for stopping in. Spotlight. Ans Jakupovic. What do you think of cryptocurrency? I think it's fantastic. My channel started out talking primarily about XRP, and we'll get into that too. My little conspiracy theory here that I'm just starting that, it goes deep. It goes real deep. It doesn't just have to do with the United States federal government seizing authoritarian control of the entire country. That's just the tip of what I think is coming. Stefan asks how long I'm in KL for. You'll be moving back there as soon as the flights are back on. I will be here, well, forcefully now until June. And because I'm going to be stuck here, and really one of the primary reasons I'm here is visiting my girlfriend, since I can't see her right now because I'm on lockdown, and she's a state border away, even though it's like only a few kilometers, but whatever. Still can't cross that state border. I'll probably be here till July, at least the end of July, maybe the beginning of August. It depends on what goes on with this lockdown, honestly. And it also depends on what happens in America. Now, obviously, I'm. What's up, XRP Carolina? How's it going? Toronto. No, it is absolutely a theory. It doesn't matter how much evidence or circumstantial evidence there might be for whatever I'm saying. Everybody in this chat, I encourage you to be critical of what I'm saying and understand that this is mostly just out of my head of watching trends, right? There's circumstantial evidence. There's no hard evidence for what I'm getting into. That's why I labeled it "Let's Get Conspiratorial," right? Or whatever the label is, something about "Let's Talk Conspiracy" or whatever, right? So something to keep in mind, something I appreciate about a lot of you is that, you know, one reason I love my community is a lot of you are just brilliant individuals, and you don't, just because you can entertain something, you don't believe it, right? And that's something that's really important, to be able to entertain ideas without believing them, so that you're not married, you don't become, you know, religious about a theory or about a prospect. You are weighing probabilities, and that's how I view my own internal belief system. I don't hold fast to anything. Everything's kind of like loose. It's like, well, if it continues to fit my narrative, my worldview, then it stays in place. If it doesn't, then, you know, I'm just quickly discard it as I am anything I don't believe, right? If I find disproof for what I believe or what I currently believe, then it's disproven to me. I'm not going to continue to hold on to it, and I encourage that of all my viewers, of course. And I'm glad that most of you have at least seem to express that kind of a same mentality. It's really cool. Obviously, that's why you're watching me. Anyway, back on topic. I think that this centralization leads into, as I was going to say, into crypto. It leads into XRP. And that's primarily because we are all well aware of the FedNow system. We're also, I'm sure most of you are aware that the federal government has been bailing out central banks of foreign governments now. So the United States Federal Reserve is now officially the central bank of central banks by supplying them liquidity through the US dollar. And when you really think about it, you know, why would the US government be bailing out other governments? You know, when it's got its own, we have our own problem as Americans, taking care of our own collapsing economy. Why are we bailing out the rest of the world? And it's from my perspective, it's because they know what they're doing. There is a plan in place. It's a bailout, aka a purchase. You can exactly what you're saying, Toronto. It's, you know, plus purchase of assets, bailout plus purchase of assets. And what assets does the government have? Well, they have their citizens. They have the land that government owns. And so that's essentially what America's doing in bailing out these uh, countries that are in financial straits, severe financial straits as a result of this. Something to keep in mind too about where I'm at, and this I want to put this in perspective to point out to everybody just how absurdly wealthy America is. At least the top of the pyramid. Walmart generates almost 2 times as much money annually as the entire country of Malaysia. Malaysia has a population of 30 million people, so it's about like 1/11 the population of America. I think it's like 31 million, so it's basically 1/10 the population of America. And yet Walmart generates more revenue than this entire country times 2. Walmart's not even 5% of America's economy. It's not even close to 5%. So, and a lot of Americans are worried that that as a country we can't afford to sustain a long-term lockdown, and any kind of extended lockdown. Americans are in the street freaking out because nobody can afford the economy can't afford this. Well, guess what? A country that's worth half as much as Walmart has been on lockdown now for what will soon be 3 months solid straight, and we got another 2+ weeks ahead of us, and people aren't out in the street freaking out here. And they didn't get it. Most of the people, nobody here, from my following the news, got any money from their government. All right. So, what Americans need to keep in mind is it's not you. Actually, and the economy's pumping along fine. What you need to keep in mind is it's not the government. It's not American economy that's going to tank. It's going to be you. You're suffering. You. It's the individual, the small business owner. And this gets into why I think this crisis is being perpetuated in the way that it is. Because at the end of the day, I believe that there's probably going to be just as many deaths, if not 10 times more, who will die from this virus. Or not from the virus, from poverty-related issues such as starvation in America, as would have died from the virus if they didn't do a lockdown. Because at this point I'm convinced that America is so deeply rooted in its capitalist nature that it will allow all of you to die before it dares to violate its capitalist tendency and take a penny from the multi-billionaires who own you and me as an American. I like to say you because I'm on the other side of the world, but I'm still an American, right? So, why is it though that they would choose to, instead of have everybody die of a virus, everybody's hyperbole, but millions of people die from the virus, would rather them die of starvation? Because if they're dying of starvation, it means they don't have the money for food. If you don't have the money for food, what else don't you have the money for? To invest in the greatest wealth transfer in human history. FN based, I am in Malaysia. I'm in Kuala Lumpur right now. So keep this in mind. The virus can absolutely be real, and that's something I want everybody to know too, is that I fully believe this virus is real. 110% believe it's real. Now, as far as whether or not it's being, as far as whether it's a hoax as to the severity of it, or how it's being used by the media, I also believe that it is the old saying, let no crisis go unutilized, or whatever I'm butchering the saying, but don't ever let a crisis go unexploited or unutilized, and that's ultimately what I see. So whether it was an intentional virus or it was just the perfect opportunity for them to use for this reset that they want, either way, that's what they're doing. That's what I see them doing. they're using this as a way to restart the economy through a digital, asset, through the digital assets. With with all of our research that I've done, that others in the XRP community have done, I'm fully committed to the belief too that XRP is at its root, that XRP is at the core of this new financial system. We know that. Obviously, I've said so many times, but I think that we got a few new people here because a few people have asked how I feel about crypto. We know for a fact that over 50 central banks are working with Ripple. That over, I think it's over probably 400 banks now, because we know it's like 350 or something like that from their last official announcement. Or no, their website's saying 350 banks, right? But we know that probably about 400 major banks are working with Ripple now to implement XRP. And this isn't slowing down just because of the virus. These people can have their meetings over Skype, just like I'm talking to all of you through YouTube right now. They can easily continue their negotiations via Skype, as opposed to meeting in person. And it's a lot easier to do that too. They don't need to meet in person. They can fax each other the things that they need to sign, for their contracts. Oh yeah, just sign here. We'll fax it over, you fax it back. You don't need to be in person to do these kind of business meetings. It's just, the formal traditional way to do it. Let's see. Shu, what's up, bro? Glad you stopped in. Good to see you, brother. Love the Bearable Guy vid. Yeah, and if Bearable Bull you're watching or you're in the live stream, I don't know. I keep missing convo of who else in here. I apologize for mashing your name instead of Bearable Guy. No shade at Bearable Bull. Love his content. I'm just jealous that I can't use hyperbole titles without getting just torn apart and having like extreme dislike ratios on my videos. It's not fair, man. It's not fair. Ricardo Gene Phillips. Between XRP and XLM, which one will bring you more profit on the next bull run? Be fair. Ricardo, 110% XRP. I gotta say, and I know that a lot of people have made a fair bit of money on XLM going up like 15-20% or whatever it's gone up over the last month. I don't think it's sustainable, and I don't think that XLM has a bright future. I know that a lot of people subscribe to this narrative that XRP is the financial currency and XLM is the retail currency. But here's the reality. That's not how it's going to work. And I don't know why people keep telling you this. I don't know why people keep believing this. XLM will not replace the digital dollar. It will not replace the Chinese digital yuan. It won't. Nations will maintain their own sovereign currencies, and XLM will not replace a single one of them. The reason XRP succeeds and XLM fails is because XRP is acting as an intermediary, a bridge between national digital currencies, or as we all know them, CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, all right? And XLM is not that, and it won't be used for that. IBM is trying to incorporate it, or has used it as a research tool. They're not even using it. They're using their own digital asset. And they're only relying on the framework of XLM, which is technically the framework of XRP, because XLM is just a brand or a fork of XRP. A fork of the code, not of the actual network, obviously. So, I think that a lot of people, I know that a lot of people mistake short-term profit for long-term, for a long-term trend. And it's just not how things work. It's just not how, there's a reason why why investors are billionaires, and most traders, maybe have $1 million to their name by the time they retire. Whereas billionaires are made usually by their 30s to 40s. Whereas traders will trade into their 60s before they're really able to retire. It's because a long-term goal, a long-term vision will always pay better returns than short term. Always. So a lot of people might have done really good on their trades on XLM, but you know what nobody's talking about? Those people that are trading their XLM? All the money they've lost on all the stupid ass trades they've made before that. Because they're ship jumpers. And people who jump ship between these markets as they move, oh, what's the next bit? What's the hot coin of today? They get burned. I know they get burned because I played that game early on in the crypto ecosystem when I was first getting involved in investing or trading, as I originally started doing. And I got burned just as many times as I made profit. And I only started to really make profit when I started holding and investing in long-term projects. Now, granted, I'm down now because, actually, no, I'm not. Well, yeah, I am now because we're at 19 cents. But I was positive briefly again, just before this 10% dump. Just briefly, but I was positive again. Now I think I might be, I don't know, I'd have to do the math. I can't remember the exact buy-in of my last purchase. I'm probably about even right now, really close to being even, but I think I'm at a slight loss right now. But that's just because, you know, I'm like 95% in XRP, and the amount that I have in Link and in VET is so, even though those are like my 2-second bigger coins, it's so minuscule that whatever XRP does is really what's happening with my portfolio right now. Let's see, who let the bulls out? In all fairness, Ripple is paying MoneyGram to use XRP. They both don't. I have both, don't get me wrong. I mean, yes, Ripple did pay MoneyGram to use XRP. However, I really doubt that Ripple is paying them any kind of substantial amount, because the slippage that they're paying MoneyGram for in regards to using XRP as the intermediary between their Mexican corridors, Mexican US dollar corridor, is so minuscule, since they're doing these transactions in seconds, that Ripple's probably not paying them anything, realistically. It's just insurance policy. But yeah, they absolutely paid to get them to just take that dive. And that's because Ripple knew Ripple was making an informed bet, right? They're saying, well, we know once MoneyGram starts turning profit because of using our product, everybody's going to get on board, right? And it's just, why else would you as a company pay another company hundreds, or I think it's like, what is it? I can't remember, it's been so long. Is it $30 million? $30 million, right? For one company to use XRP? What does a for-profit have to gain from a $30 million payout if they don't think that their network is going to succeed for that company and attract new users of that specific product, being XRP, right? So that's the way I look at it. But yeah, absolutely, you're right, and I don't deny it. And let's see, it's called paid shilling. If they want wine marketing, crypto Twitter isn't the place to do it. I would not say. Well, you know why you don't absorb MoneyGram? Because then you're right in the same spot you were before, Kyle. If they would have absorbed MoneyGram, they'd be in the same exact position. They'd be stuck not being able to get any first movers. MoneyGram is technically their first mover. And so they're getting first mover advantages. But if they would have just absorbed MoneyGram, then they'd still need that first user, that first person to adopt their network. Because Ripple's objective is not to be the one and only in the financial system. Their objective is to be the linchpin that holds the whole financial system together, aka Swift. That's their objective. When you invest in a company, you give them money, right? Yeah, but here's the issue, Tail. I'm not investing in Ripple. I don't own Ripple stock. I own XRP. XRP is a decentralized digital asset. I didn't buy my XRP from Ripple. I bought my XRP from, well, Coinbase and Binance and Uphold and several other platforms that I've used over the years. So that's something to keep in mind. No, I mean, they will likely absorb them later. This is a toe in the water. Oh, I don't think so, honestly. I don't think so. I think that Ripple's plans are much bigger than MoneyGram's, buddy. I think that it's much bigger. I think that their only interest is as a software company right now, at least, and that their objective is to make XRP worth as much as they can, because that means the more XRP is worth, the more liquid assets they have. The more their liquid assets are valued at, rather. Because XRP is predominant portion of their liquid assets, even though most of it's in escrow, right? Yikes, that is horrible, Jack. I'm sorry for your friend. That is absolutely atrocious. Jack's friend apparently lost 1.5 million Bitcoin from cold storage. Some guy from the Philippines sold them on a stock in chunks in a month. He can't do anything. The stock refused to help. How do you... Yeah, I'd probably be gone too if I lost that kind of money. Holy crap. Wow, sorry for your loss, buddy. That's rough. Yeah, how do you lose Bitcoin out of cold, or how do you have your cold storage stolen? That doesn't even make sense, honestly. Like, he had to trust somebody with his keys. Stolen. Yeah, like, I don't understand how that happens. I don't know, that's crazy. How does... Yeah, but the virus, you can't... Okay, how did the virus get his keys? Did he have his keys written on on the computer? Like, that's the only way that happens. Yeah, the only way that happens, though, is if his keys were on his computer. It doesn't matter that his computer is infected. You can't steal keys, or you can't steal something that's a physical key. Yeah, cold storage is offline. Exactly, that's the whole point. I don't understand how that works. I mean, obviously, since he offed himself, it really happened. But damn, you can plug. I mean, you can plug Paul. I was laughing at Paul, not you, Jack. You can plug your device into a compromised computer and not lose it. Because you have to still transfer those. Yeah, you can't steal the keys. That's why I'm so confused. The only way. Yeah, that's the only way I can see that happening is if he had written his keys on the computer, and that's really foolish. That it's unfortunate that happened to him. Unfortunate how he responded to it, but that was really foolish move. I mean, I don't have my keys on anything, or anything other than the piece of paper that they're written on, and it's stored in a lockbox, a fireproof lockbox. Man. Yeah, I guess, Jack, that's crazy. U.S.'s greatest country in America. Rochelle, yeah, I think that's saying your name right. I agree. The U.S. is the greatest country in America. Canada's all right, though. I don't know, actually. I don't know, because you have to compete with Canada, and Canada's pretty cool. Literally, it's freezing up there. That's the only reason America's better, because Canada's freezing, and I hate cold weather. So, no offense to my Canadian buddies out there. I know a few of my actual friends who are Canadian who watch the stream. No offense, bro. But you are made of warmer stuff than me, because I would die up there. I don't know. It must be because I'm so thin. You know, I can't stand the cold. uh, but you know, Canada seems to be doing a better job of both containing this virus and taking care of its citizens, ensuring that they are financially stable through this lockdown. It, it's really strange to me, though. Kind of like getting back on the topic of the original point of the video. It's really strange to me that Americans can watch another first world country like Canada somehow manage to afford to give all of its citizens a reoccurring paycheck every month throughout the remainder of this lockdown. Yet America, who's worth like 10 times as much as Canada, can't afford it? I don't understand that. I don't understand that logic. It's like there's some kind of cognitive dissonance in the human mind, in American minds, that it's American exceptionalism is what it is, honestly, that drives that. It's like the most disgusting thing ever. It's like why Rome collapsed, you know? Americans, I think, America also has trillions of dollars in GDP. You know, the debt hasn't exceeded 100% of GDP yet. Canada has. And Canadian, yeah, and they have no gold. I mean, it's debatable whether America has gold. The amount of gold that the governments claim to have does not exactly line up with how much gold there is in the world. So, it could be debate about whether America has been honest about how much gold it has. And we know that they've sold a lot of gold to foreign nations over the last decade. So it's really debatable how much we have even. But yeah, something to keep in mind though is that, you know, I think Americans are going to learn the hard way how dependent we are on each other. How dependent you are, you know, I'm gonna pretend everybody out here in the chat, I'm gonna pretend all of you are business owners, right? So how dependent you as a business owner are on your employee, on all your employees. And when your employees stop showing up, doesn't matter how smart of a businessman you are, if you don't have people working your job, your company's going under. Look at all the small businesses that went under because their employees are ordered to stay home. And yet, as we watch this happen with the American economy, as we watch as hundreds, if not thousands of small businesses are going out of business, Americans still haven't caught on to the importance of the collective of each other, of American citizens. I really wonder how long it's going to take. I feel like, you know, I think that right now the issue is that Americans need to first be disillusioned to this, that their job's not coming back just because the lockdown ends, you know. Over half of Americans are currently unemployed. Now, you're being told that, you know, employment is the displaced workers is like, I think it's like 18 or 19% now, maybe a little bit higher, but it's like 33 million Americans. So over 33 million Americans have lost their job since this lockdown began. Before this lockdown began, there was 150 some, maybe 160 million jobs in America. So with 33 million jobs lost, that's 1/5 of jobs. Before this all began in 2019, and you guys can be Googling this alongside me, I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. Before this all began, there was only a 62% worker participation rate in America. Now, the way unemployment works is those figures work is they only count the people who are actively looking for a job. If somebody reports they're not looking for work, they're not included in the unemployment figures. And over 40% nearly 40% of Americans before the crash were not looking for work. When you add in the 20% who are now unemployed of the existing 60% workforce, you now realize that, you know, it's 20% of 60% is like 15% of the total. Okay? I think I did that right. 12%, sorry, 12% of the total. Add that 12% to your 37, 38%, you basically have 50% of Americans who are now unemployed. That's what That's why I've been saying that in my videos lately. Half of Americans are now unemployed. There is not going to be jobs to employ half of Americans over the next 5 years. We generate like, I think it's like in the best parts of this bull run, we've had like, I think it's like the highest number I can remember is like 3 million jobs in a month. In a month. And we need 30 million to just come back. And 3 million was like at the best. I think that might actually be wrong. I might be misremembering. It might have been 300,000, but I swear it's 3 million. I know it's 3. Start with 3. I think it's 3 million. Somebody can check that. I'm not 100%. It's either 300,000 or 3 million. Best month during this since 2009. So at best, it's going to take 10 months from here for jobs to or 11 months rather, a whole year, for jobs to recover to where they're at now. You're still going to have 40% of your population unemployed. Most small business tails. I think that the small businesses who are surviving right now, I expect probably 60+% of the ones who are still who have survived up till now are still going out of business before all is said and done. Kyle says Spain have a universal basic income, but if they need you to complete a job like jury, they can call upon you. I mean, same with America, and we're not getting UBI, and you still gotta go do jury duty, unless you have a acceptable excuse. This pandemic solves tons of problems for corporations. Retirees have no economic values to them as they make no profits. Yeah, but you have to keep in mind that most retirees' value is in the stock market. So, I don't, like my grandma, her entire net worth, well, like 90% of her, over 90% of her net worth is in the stock market. Her boyfriend's net worth, he's like 99% in the stock market. And so, whatever the stock market does, which is the wealthy people's value. It's not just the elderly population's net worth, it's the rich's net worth too. The rich preserve their value through stocks. So, this isn't really going to hit the intelligent elderly person. It's going to hit the impoverished elderly person. So it's like the most vulnerable, of course, the most vulnerable among us are the ones who are going to suffer the most from this, because they're the ones who rely on Social Security more than their actual retirement portfolio. And even people who, rely more on their retirement portfolio, it's still going to be a hit to them when now that Trump's getting rid of your Medicare and your Social Security. And I hope that everybody is aware of that. I hope everybody's aware of that. That anybody who's reaching retirement, congratulations, because of a Republican who has sworn up and down since before he was elected to protect Social Security. It's now going away because he's defunding it. He's neutralizing it. Social Security was going to be good for every American up till a minimum of 2036. Now it won't even sustain until 2030. It'll likely go away within 3 to 5 years. So congratulations to everybody who thinks Social Security is a scam. You fucked us all. Because now none of us are getting our money back that we put in the Social Security. Not one of us now. Because instead of extending this social system for all of us to share in, so that a lot of people are like, oh well, you're robbing people to do this. No, I'm sorry. If I'm going to be able to benefit from this when I'm too old and decrepit to work for myself, while my employer fucked me out of a real income my entire goddamn life. No. That's not robbing all of us. It's robbing the corporates who rob for however many years I live past 65, who robbed me all the way up to the age of 65. I think that's a fair fucking deal. Can believe Osama rigged the elections. I just watched the video on it. Oh god. Osama is is a master hacker, and his death was faked, clearly. Um, I gotta say that I love some of the conspiracies out there. They're so funny. They're great. One of the biggest countries in the world, and yet they fuck their system. That's the nature of capitalism, Kyle. Survival of the fittest. And the irony is that most Americans think they're the fittest one. That's how you keep a scam like that alive. You tell everybody that they're the smartest. You're the brightest light bulb. You're the, if you work hard, you'll make it in America. Yeah, well, tell that to my stepfather, who's busted his fucking ass every single day of his life. He hasn't had a hole in his work history his entire life. Served in the Marine Corps, busted his fucking ass 50 plus hours a week, every week, his entire fucking life. And this man will not retire. Because he has not earned the income to. Because it doesn't matter how hard you bust your ass if you're not being paid a real living wage, which is a wage equal to what you need to survive day to day, but also in order for you to be able to invest towards retirement, then you're screwed. And he'll work till he dies, probably. Well, hopefully not, because I got him in XRP, you know. Hopefully, my stepdad and my mom are going to be solid because they trusted me enough to put a fair bit of money into XRP. That's exactly right, Darren. You got to work smart, not hard. Now, I will say, you got to do both, really. Working smart is equally as important as working hard, because I've worked smart my whole life, and I'm basically broke. You know, I say that I'm broke, but I'm better off than, you know, most Americans. But that's not really saying much when most Americans can't afford $600, you know, unexpected costs. But, you know, I'm better than like 80% of Americans, sadly. It's kind of shocking to think about how little that really equates to when I think about my net worth versus what that actually equates to, right? Kyle, can you tell me how your life is now in Southeast Asia? Hope you're chilling. Yeah, Kyle, I'm loving it, honestly. I mean, aside from being locked down, aside from being stir crazy because I can't go out and do anything, and they extended this lockdown another month, literally just like 2 days before this lockdown was going to end here, and I was going to be leaving this part of Malaysia to be closer to my girlfriend so I could at least visit her during the lockdown, or the remainder of the lockdown, if the lockdown was renewed, rather. The remainder of my visa is what I really think I meant to say. But while I was free to explore, I love it. It's a beautiful place here. It's obviously very clear. I mean, you can tell just by like the little pan around that, you know, there's a very clear disparity, just like there is in America, between like more affluent areas and more poor areas. Just kicking my stand here, but it's also like really a lot more mixed here compared to America. Like in America, we have rich suburbs and poor suburbs. Here, it's bizarre because like you will see like the most derelict house you could ever imagine right next door to like a beautiful penthouse, right? So it's really bizarre in that regard. Zoning is kind of random, it seems, as far as that goes. But overall, people I've met are super kind. They're really nice. The culture is, you know, even though it's foreign to me and it's outside of the norm of what I'm used to, because I don't think that they're technically under Sharia law, but they're governed by a Muslim dominant government here. So it's in some ways it's I think because in America where there's so much fear around Islam, around like Muslim culture, and we have like this like serious fear of Sharia law because we don't know anything about it. Like the reality is we fear what we don't know, and I think that that's really the big issue. But like since I'm not really familiar with the laws, I'm kind of like hesitant in a lot of things and whatnot. But the people are great, regardless of what the government might be like. And the reality is governments are corrupt everywhere. I'm not saying Malaysia's government's corrupt. Who knows? I don't dig into it. I don't even want to know, to be honest. Mainly because just in case it's really corrupt, I don't want to risk getting emotionally invested in such a thing and then getting in trouble. You know what I mean? You try to keep your brain busy. Yeah, that's I've been honestly playing a lot more video games than it's probably healthy, to be honest. I keep saying that I might do video games on the channel, but like I'm really hesitant about putting video games on the channel, mainly because I don't want to like feel like I don't want to like risk like going away from XRP, finding out that the channel will grow better from gaming videos, because I'm sure it would, especially if like even 20 people or 30 people tune in, you know, then that's going to promote a lot of gamers to come into the chat, and that could like, it's kind of like with the Area 51 thing, right? When I went there, it completely distorted my metrics on YouTube, and it absolutely obliterated my view count, because since a lot of the people who subscribe wouldn't click on my videos related to XRP, that's one of the things I think that contributed to my view count plummeting after for XRP related content, because a lot of people who had only interest in aliens who subscribed to me because I was at Area 51 didn't come back, because now I'm not at Area 50 talking about aliens, I'm talking about, you know, this cryptocurrency that none of them know about. Kyle says, I like video games, but make separate channel and plug it at the beginning, end of the video. I did that for a little while. I made it another channel. It's called The Retro Gamer. I should probably like put it in my referred channels on my YouTube here. Maybe that'd help. But yeah, it got like 1 subscriber. My girlfriend subscribed to me right after I made it. That's it. So, and I made like a week and a half, 2 weeks worth of content, and only got 1 subscriber out of my girlfriend. So I was like, yeah, you know what? It's really hard to break into the gaming YouTube scene without like a dedicated following on Twitch or somewhere else. Like it's really challenging. So like it's kind of like, screw it. So that's why like it's tempting for me to make them here, but at the same time, for what I just listed, that's why I haven't yet. And I probably won't, to be honest. What about doing a live stream walkabout like you did back in the day? I would, Shu, but like I said, I can't really. We're on lockdown here, so like, she is a keeper, Kyle. She is. She's a wonderful individual, brilliant mind, beautiful woman. Couldn't ask for more. But who was I? Oh, Shu. Asking about the walkabout. I can't do it because of the lockdown. I can't go outside for anything other than going to the grocery. If I was walking around live streaming, I'd most certainly get stopped by police, and they'd ask me what I'm doing. I'd be like, talking to my live stream while I go to the grocery store. You know, so it would not go well. They're very strict here compared to, like, I know that America had like some places like New York, they got pretty strict there, but like they're 10 times more strict here with this lockdown. There's like checkpoints like all over the place. I can't see any from my balcony to show you, but I know that there's like one right around the corner from here. The only reason I know that is because every time I order I order food, I see my driver come to a stop like right at this intersection. It's behind this building right here, and they always stop there even though it's not at the intersection. So it's like, oh, checkpoint must be there. Fook better go to bed. It's 3 a.m. here. Well, appreciate you stopping in, Kyle. Have a good one. And stream some cooking recipes. Nah. You know who you need to go to for that? Oh, no. Why am I forgetting his name? We have somebody in the XRP community who's done cooking videos, and I'm spacing his name. He donated a lot of XRP to me too a few months ago. He's like his name's Italian. That's why it's not coming to me. It's not like your stereotypical biblical name. Those are the only names that stick with me is biblical names. So like if y'all have a biblical name or something that like, you know, you're not somebody that's regular in the chat, I spaced your name, so apologies if you're watching. You know who you are, and I will give you a shout out in the next video just because, just for it. Don't need the Martian locked up. Yeah, hey, you know, I'm locked up in your timeline, right? Let's be real here. Y'all watched the Area 51 raid. Y'all know I went there to get my spaceship back. Nobody did the raid, and now I'm still stuck here. Now I gotta live through this time. I really just wanted to like jump ahead a few years, you know? Like I knew this was coming. That's why I'm here in Malaysia, because like they're the ones that like I have the best chance to survive in this, especially when things get real. Just kidding, guys. I wish I was from the future. You know how rich I'd be right now if I was from the future? I'd already be a billionaire. Let's be real. Let's be really real. I would have like charted out like every peak and valley to have $1 billion already, but you know, maybe I already do. Who knows? I just bought high risk coins, PundyX, Dent, and Hollow. I thought, what the hell, take another chance. Paul, more power to you. I don't play with those kind of things. I know that PundyX is another really popular coin in the XRP community. I don't see the use case myself, but you know, a lot of other people think that it has a bright future. I just see there's just too many ecosystems that I don't know a lot about. Like I drove truck for about a year and a half, and so like I feel from that experience I have at least a decent understanding of the supply chain, and so that's why I invested in VET as little as I have, and that's why I understand VET's model too, because I understand the supply chain a little more intimately than most people, just having done even just having driven truck, because you actually become pretty intimately familiar with how interconnected all goods are in the country, and how everything moves around, and how distribution centers work and things of that nature, and so like and production lines, how they operate. So that's why I got big in VET, and honestly I don't care if they're Chinese. That actually, because it's a logistics company that's targeting China, that actually makes me more bullish on it, because China is the primary producer for the entire world. So them being Chinese based doesn't bother me, just because of that. If we're talking about something like Tron, you know, that's like, okay, I get it. The Chinese middle class is the largest middle class in the world now, you know, not just by sheer metric number, but by percentage base of their population. But I feel that I don't know, honestly. I think that there's just like an American bias that I have against engaging with their social currencies, mainly because I don't see the point of those kind of things, right? I can understand the point behind like a logistics chain, and I can understand the point behind a bridge currency like XRP, but I can't really rationalize how a social coin that's not already like got a monopoly on social media is going to really propagate. You know, that's why I like BAT more in that regard, actually, because you know BAT's working with Twitter now. BAT's working with several. They're trying to get several big social medias to adopt them. That's why I like BAT, and that's why it's actually my portfolio too. Not just because I use Brave and I get donations through BAT that way, but because I think BAT is has a good future. That's why I like Link too, because Link is like I think of all cryptocurrencies the most well connected with Google, and since they're going after derivatives, that's another area where I see smart contracts. Obviously, you know, I think if XRP succeeds in the bridge asset space, then they might be able to also capitalize on derivatives market, but I think that Link, you know, focusing on that has a better chance, and also their connection to Google is really what gets me really excited about it. You know, it's like I think the best way to describe how I look at this ecosystem is like a pragmatic optimist, right? Like I'm optimistic about how revolutionary the space is, but I'm pragmatic about how it will be adopted. I'm in the sense that I don't think that it's going to be putting trillion-dollar companies out of business. It's just not. Those trillion-dollar companies have known about this space for, a decade, basically since its inception. They've known about it since before any of us. They've been investing in it since before any of us even knew about Bitcoin. All right, so it's very clear that they're not going away. That they probably know where this space is going a lot better than any of us. So it's arrogant, I think, for any of us to assume that that we know better than Google or any other big tech company that's involved in this space. They got a lot more minds and eyes working together, and not in any kind of competition with each other, trying to understand the space and where it's going and how it's applicable, than the entirety of the XRP community. Probably more than the Bitcoin community, because the Bitcoin community is there's so much divide even amongst themselves. So yeah, it's I think that the best way to look at this ecosystem is how will it integrate, right? Disruption's good, disruption's inevitable, but disruption comes through integration, through adoption, and so you have to keep that in mind. My wife ran away with my best friend, and I miss him. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. You should text your old friend and be like, hey, I don't care about the wife, but we should get a beer sometime, bro. I hope that was just a joke. That seems like it's a joke. It's a good one. Code word. My big bets are XRP and Casino Coin. Both work with regulators, big industry names, both same tech. Yeah, I can see like a games coin doing well. And actually, I think I don't know that I've done a in-depth video on this. I know I did a video on Forte way back when, where I talked a little bit about my views on gaming coins. But I think that gaming coins are like one of the areas where there's room for like a lot of competition and a lot of tokens. I think that might come from the fact that I love video games, and I've played video games since I was like 5. Like very serious PC gamer since I was like 11 too. And I like MMOs. Like I'm guilty of having played World of Warcraft for like 5 years. And anybody that knows anything about World of Warcraft, it's called World of Warcraft as a joke for a reason, because it's a super addictive game, and I sunk more of my life into that game during my teens than I am comfortable admitting. But something that I can say about those games is they have real economies. There's a very real economy within an MMO like World of Warcraft, especially large MMOs with large, healthy player bases. Oh, it's terrible, code word. It's terrible. And I've played numerous MMOs aside from that. None have taken me in like wow. But I've played a lot of MMOs, so and something that I've learned is that they all have a very intrinsic issue with their economies, and that's that their currencies hyperinflate. XRP hodler, I am in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Video games have this serious issue of hyperinflation of their currencies, and it's because in a video game, when you kill something, like in an MMO, typically the way things work is when you kill something, it either just creates gold or whatever currency out of thin air, or it creates an item that you can then sell to a vendor, to a computer character that just creates gold again out of thin air. And so you're constantly creating money in this economy, and there are very, very, very few, compared to how many ways there are to create gold in the system. There's very few ways to get rid of money out of the system, to disperse the gold out of the system, and so it builds up, and you just have tons, and then it's eventually, like instead of you paying like one gold piece for like a chicken dinner, you're paying like 100 gold because it's devalued so much, right? I'm trying to use like as non-gamer related terms as possible to keep it seeming like it's something that you can understand without going into like game logic, right, or game things. But this is how these games work. So I think that when video games adopt blockchain, especially MMOs, adopt blockchains for their currencies in game, that's a literal game changer. You know, pun intended. Even it changes how not only how the economies in a video game will work, but how a real world person will interact and view a video game economy, a virtual economy, because this ecosystem that, you know, I could sit over here and play certain MMOs and slave away for, you know, 12 hours a day, and I can make an income selling that gold on a website, you know, to other people. I could be like, hey, selling 50,000 gold for $100, and, you know, maybe it takes me like 10 hours to make 50,000 gold, so I'm making like $10 an hour, and that's a legitimate profession for people in China. They're called gold farmers, right? This is like an actual job, to play a video game with the purpose of making money in that video game, gold in that video game, to sell it. And so it's in these, when this blockchain system hits these video game worlds, it's going to like increase the size of the real world economy in a substantial way, in a way that I don't think even I'm willing to accept. Like, as somebody who loves video games, I'm like hesitant about just how much of an impact it'll have. Like, I'm thinking like maybe like increase global GDP by like 3 to 5%, but it might be like 10+% to be real. Because when you can make a living off of a virtual world where, you know, you are able to create an avatar that's more representative of who you are as an individual than your physical self, you know, maybe through whatever means necessary, you know, whether that's a fantasy setting where like, I'm a wizard, Harry, or, you know, you have a sexual dimorphism, so you like see yourself as a girl, you know, like you don't have to go pay thousands of dollars to get a sex change. You can just be the girl in the video game, you know, or you see yourself as somebody from the future, and so you just want to play a futuristic game. You want to live in a futuristic world, and so you go and you make your money in your futuristic virtual world, and then you pay for your real world cost of living. You know, it's Ready Player One kind of thing. Anybody that hasn't seen that movie, absolutely go check that out. You identify as invisible. I see you in my comments, Toronto. So I'm sorry to say that my reality does not comply with yours, buddy. Hugh Hefner rides again. I don't tell anyone to invest. I ride alone. What if they lose? Oh, Rachel. I convinced parents to invest in XRP and my nephew. No one else will listen to me. Oh well, you have to be in it to win it. Absolutely, Rochelle. And what was he? The Mask. Wait, what movie's bad? Are you saying that the Mask is a bad movie? The Mask is fantastic. All right, Jim Carrey is like the best actor in the world. I'm just gonna say it. All right, that's maybe a little bit hyperbole because there are some people that way up there with them, but no. To Rochelle's point though, I'm in a similar position. I've gotten a few family members. I've gotten an aunt involved. I've gotten my brother, my mom, my stepfather. Couldn't get my dad involved. Couldn't get any grandparents involved. Desperately tried, but you know, it is what it is. And that's just one reason to stack your bags a little bit thicker, because obviously, you know, there's no reason to make all your friends or save enough so that you can like give all your friends who refuse to listen to you $1 million. But you know, like if you can put away a few $1,000s to give, you know, all your family members $1 million each, then you know that pays back in spades. You know what I mean? What about XRP? Talk, Martian. XRP is fantastic. Still kind of talking about it right now. You know what I mean? I don't know what you're getting at, bro. Love Jim Carrey. Me, myself, and Irene. Oh, it's a fantastic movie. Brother and father-in-law are invested in XRP. Awesome shoe. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. My stepfather, is this extremely fiscally conservative, well, he's conservative in general, but he's a very fiscally conservative individual, very, very, I don't want to use the word closed-minded, but it's like the only word that's coming to me right now. He does not look at the world as this thing that's changing. He looks at it as this very static thing. I think that's the best way to explain to put his views without, like, you know, minimizing them or making him sound like uninformed or whatever. But so it is actually really surprising to me. Yeah, old-fashioned Toronto. That's actually probably a better way to put it. He's very old-fashioned. So like it is really surprising to me that he got involved in this. But for the life of me, my father, who invents, my father is like this crazy inventor. Like he's made some of the most wild contraptions that I have ever seen. And most of them, because, you know, he's an impoverished guy, you know, it's like Jordan Peterson recoined, you know, it's an old saying, but like Jordan Peterson repopularized the saying that genius, unrewarded genius is almost proverbial. My father's like the perfect example of that. You know, he's a brilliant man who's created all these crazy cool inventions and contraptions throughout my life that I've watched. I watched this man build a windmill that was so efficient. Like, again, it was built out of scrap, but it was so efficient that, first off, no matter what way the wind was blowing, this thing was spinning. And it spun so rapidly in an area where there's not even a lot of wind. Like he built this in a wooded area where there's not a lot of wind at, and it blew itself apart because the centrifugal force was so great. It tore itself apart. And he saw it as a failure. This man saw this thing as a failure. This insane windmill contraption they built out of trash. Literally. Like he was using old repurposed like fiberglass siding, like for sheet, or not even fiberglass. Yeah, it's fiberglass siding with, like, you know, old tractor parts to like build like the rivets and everything. It's like, here's the most jerry-rigged thing of all time. This man's name is Jerry too, so it's like perfectly fitting to say it's jerry-rigged. It's kind of like an inside joke in the family because he jerry-rigs all these things as a Jerry. And so, but like, I couldn't get this man for the life of me to invest in XRP. Cannot. And it's really crazy too, because like he's also like kind of anti-government. Well, not kind of. He's anti-government too, right? Like he's pretty libertarian in most of his views, and yet for the life of me, he does not. I don't know when this changed in his mind, but he at some point just became convinced that you can't. You're not going to ever, the government's never going away, or the dollar's never going away. People have been saying it for my entire life that the Social Security's going away, that all this stuff's going away. It hasn't happened, it's never happening. I think maybe he's just kind of getting cynical with older age, but it's just kind of like crazy to think. Kind of crazy to think that the difference between the mindset of people who have been able to get involved versus who I haven't. Went on a big long tangent there, a lot of TMI, but just relating to you there, Rochelle, and yeah, it's crazy. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Paul Von Gassman, great advice, brother. And absolutely, and yeah, everybody's fearful. Right? I'm fearful right now, and that's typically what I refer to, because, you know, it's hard to really gauge society as a whole, their emotional, what everybody's emotional outlook is. You kind of got to look at yourself. Especially when you're involved in something. And so that's how I look at it with XRP. Whenever I'm like really fearful, that's where I'm like, okay, I should really be buying right now. I should be really picking up, like right now. I'm fearful if XRP is going to go a little bit further. It means I should probably be buying right now. But I'm not buying anymore, and it's mainly because like I'm not making nearly money on the YouTube channel anymore. I don't have the ability to go get a job out here. I'm stuck in a foreign country for, you know, who knows how much longer. So I'm not buying anymore. No matter how much I'd like to. You know, my last purchase it was in March. No, was it March? My last purchase at the beginning of April into March was like my last purchase I'll probably be making for a while, at least until all this ends. But yeah, I'll be staying over here for a while still, Shu, like I just said. Yeah, Paul, I've gotten a pretty decent following. Unfortunately, my subscribers have stayed pretty flat around where we are since Area 51. And again, that's because I screwed up my metrics by going there. I created a two-party community essentially, you know, so it kind of messed with my metrics. And I think that's why my channel doesn't get a lot of views too now compared to what it was compared to my subscriber count, because a lot of my viewers or a lot of my subscribers don't click my videos anymore because they're not interested in cryptocurrency or finance. They're interested in aliens and things like that. So unfortunately, I just happened to check YouTube and I'm really excited to see that I actually caught one of your live streams. Woohoo! Absolutely, Bradley Gene. How's it going, brother? Haven't caught up with you in a while. I haven't been on the Telegram group in forever. I don't know if you've been active in there yourself, but I've just been like, the Area 51 stream was fun. It was a lot of fun, bearable. But yeah, I haven't gotten the chance to. It's not that I haven't had the chance to get on Telegram. It's just honestly, I've been like staying away from XRP. It's not because I don't believe in XRP. It's because I think that you need to. Part of like my process of rationalizing the world around me is I like to distance myself from things just so that, you know, once I think I know something really well, I like to distance myself from it so I can process what I know and try and like evaluate the legitimacy of a lot of things. And so I haven't really been following a lot going on with XRP. I watch a few videos here and there, but typically I'm just staying away from it right now. I'm following more macroeconomics, as you can probably tell from the videos I have made recently. The theme of this video, most of it. But I'm following macro a lot more right now while I try to really process everything that we've come to know. Yeah, you should actually have a wrench. I'm actually confused. I thought that you should. All right, wait a minute. Are you the real? I'm gonna have to check. I don't know if you're the real Bradley G now. I'm gonna have to check because I swore I gave the actual Bradley G a wrench. If you message me on Twitter saying that you don't have a wrench, I'll wrench you right now, bro. Because I know your Twitter account. But yeah, I swore I gave you a wrench. But I find most people just simply don't have time or don't make time to research XRP enough to get comfortable enough to invest. I agree. It's a very, well, something to keep in mind too is that there's a lot of conspiracy in our ecosystem, in XRP specifically. You know, it exists in Bitcoin and other cryptos too, but it's really prolific in XRP. And that creates a very, what is the word I'm looking for? Not disincentivizes, but what am I trying to think of here? It damages the credibility. It damages the credibility of the ecosystem of XRP. Growing House is shifty, IMO? Actually, I don't think so. That's interesting that you think that, because I've never gotten bad vibes from Brad myself. I'm trying to, honestly, the person who gave me the most shifty vibes was Johnson, which is interesting because he only worked for Ripple for like a few months before they eliminated his position. Yeah, I know, right? Like, that's why, and I say it's strange because I usually get vibes from people. I'm pretty good when it comes to reading people. All right, it's not saying to me. I'll trust you, Brad. I got you. If you're not the real Brad G, I'll know soon enough, and I'll unwrench you. I'll unwrench you, you fake Brad. But yeah, Garlinghouse is a pretty outstanding guy. It seems to me, and he's got a pretty awesome history. Um, so, but you know, to each their own. Ripple denied ownership of XRP to avoid securities inquiries early on. Well, I mean, they don't control the network, you know, and that's why they deny ownership of XRP, because it's not a security. It's not, and that's really why they said, that's why they worded their claims in the way they did, because it's not a security, and it's not developed as a security, you know. Did you pick the right yeah, okay, definitely the right project. All right. Yes, bro, and it's still working golden. That's what most of my videos are done on. Unfortunately, I will say, I think I didn't pick the right laptop, because that one doesn't have a webcam, a built-in webcam. So that's why I don't have video in my in most of my videos now, or web video. Whenever you see my actual video, my face while I'm doing a computer video, it's because I'm using my old laptop, just because I want to have like both together. But it's a real pain to utilize my old laptop because the screen's busted. So it's like, it takes forever to fix it. You remember Jay's was busted way back. Where were you the one who? Yeah, Shu. He definitely helped me out a lot. And yeah, that laptop's still a piece of crap, and I keep it, and I actually primarily use it as an offline resource now. It's like even though we talked early in the stream that, like, even if like the device that you connect your cold storage to becomes compromised, like, unless you lose the keys, nobody can take your currency from it or your crypto from it. I still use it as an intermediary device for that, because it's always in airplane mode now, unless like I'm uploading a video really quickly. But you know, I think I made like one video in the last like several months on it, 2 maybe. But yeah, Must's got an Asus Zephyrus. No, it's not Asus, or it's not Zephyrus. It is Asus. I don't know what. I can't think of what. It's a gaming series actually. And that's because it has a really good video card, which, you know, video card's important for video or for rendering. And I was doing a lot more video editing at that point, which is really why I picked that one more than anything, because it's like, oh, awesome video card, I can render solid. Does not, ironically, despite it having a fantastic video card, it is terrible at running any video games, at least newer video games, because it overheats like a sieve. Laptops it doesn't matter how good the laptops are. I know, right? It's actually crazy. It's wild, but it's all good. Once the lockdown ends, I'll be picking up a webcam just to use in one of the. It has 4 USB jacks on it, which is kind of absurd for a laptop. So I have plenty of ports still in it to throw a webcam in and everything. So I just have to pick one up. Haven't gotten the chance, obviously, because of lockdown and all the craziness of traveling around, not being able to find a place while I was in Thailand to pick one up before lockdown began. It's because the streamers get better webcams than the built-in. That's true, Sean, and maybe that's kind of like a blessing in disguise that it doesn't have one, because I can pick up a webcam with higher quality. So, Brad, so you think JFK Jr. is alive? You know, it's really enticing. I definitely can get behind a lot of the things that were in that video. I don't know that I can get behind JFK Jr. being alive, though. I feel like leaving him alive is like a complication, an unnecessary complication for the elites. It's a lot easier to just eliminate somebody like that, use him as a martyr, essentially. you know, it's like people think that Epstein's alive still. It's like, really? You think Epstein's alive? I mean, the guy threatened his fellow elites. That constitutes execution in my mind. I mean, if I were not as morally balanced of an individual as I was, I would definitely eliminate him. I wouldn't say, oh, you're gonna go live on your pedo island in solitude. Nope, you're gone. Not a chance for you to jeopardize my immoral behaviors before the world. Not happening. And I think the same way about JFK, to be honest. At the end of every Trump rally, Trump plays JFK's favorite song. I think, I mean, I don't even know how I really feel about that. It's yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I just think that it's a lot more, it's a lot easier to have somebody eliminated and make a martyr of than to keep somebody around because they're a friend, because it'd just be too easy for everything that all the plans that are laid out in that video to just be debunked or to be called out if somebody suddenly snapped a picture of JFK Jr., right? And let's be real, being on lockdown just a few months, I am batshit crazy. I'm going batshit crazy already. I'm an introvert. I love my alone time. Just being able to sit on my computer and do my research and be away from everybody else and have my peace and quiet. And I'm going batty because I've been cooped up for so long. Because even though I'm an introvert, I still like to go out and engage with people every once in a while. I still like to go and talk with people and you know, go and explore. So when you look at somebody like JFK, who was very extroverted, very much so an extrovert, I cannot see that man not going batty, being in isolation his whole life, you know? Personally, I think Trump is going to drop Pence and Jr. is about to become his VP. That would be wild. That'd be nutty. That'd be nutty. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. Extroverts rock, absolutely. Here's to my fellow extroverts. We will own the world because we're so dedicated. I think that's actually something that's really interesting to me. Fun food for thought for all my fellow introverts out there. They're statistically speaking, we're most likely to be financially successful in life. Even though extroverts do better in social engagement, which you would think would mean that they have better chances of promotion, ironically, it's the introverts who end up making the most in life. And if you're an introverted night owl, even though the old saying is the early bird gets the worm, introverted night owls make even more, are even more likely to make money in their lives compared to extroverts, compared to morning birds. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of like against the common logic, common belief. But just fun food for thought. I am an extrovert, love alone time, but like to get out once in a while. I don't know, sounds more ambivert to me. Typically extroverts can't stand being alone, but I don't know. I think maybe you're an introvert in disguise. Because I for a while, especially when I was in college, I like to say I was an ambivert, or that I'm an introvert pretending to be an extrovert, who likes to pretend to be an extrovert, something along those lines, or extrovert disguised, or an introvert disguised an extrovert, something like that. I can't remember how I used to say it, but men tend to stake uphill trying to get there. Stake uphill trying to get there. I don't know that I follow the We Study a Lot. Well, women are actually more tend to be more introverted than men. Brad says he's also an extrovert who likes his alone time. I think that you guys are just pretending to be a lot cooler than you are. I don't know. I say cool, but you know, just cool in the social standard method. You know, I think that I think introverts are the cooler people, cool cats. But you know, I think y'all are just. I think you're just trying to sound like you got a lot of friends when really, you know, we all know that none of us have any friends because we're an XRP. That's why we all hang out together. Hit that like if you understand my feels. Nerds! Alright guys, well, we went for an hour and a half today. I shared my conspiracy, most of it, that I wanted to talk about early on. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed engaging with you guys. I hope you guys all have a fantastic evening or morning, afternoon, wherever you guys are. I hope you guys have a good one. And I almost stole Working Money's outro there, but I can't wait to see you guys all in the next one. I don't know when I'll do another one. I'm not trying to hold myself to a schedule right now. Like I said, I'm trying to stay disconnected from XRP to a large degree. I'm avoiding a lot to do with the virus right now, so I'm kind of like a week or two behind on it. So like, my ideas might be outdated now. Who knows? I'm not really following a lot of things right now. I've been watching a lot of comedy, and I encourage everybody out there to go watch comedy themselves. Go get some laughs. I need a tan. You know what? I think you should report to the president of Malaysia that I need a tan, or that he needs to end the lockdown so that I can go get a tan out in this beautifully sunny tropical country. And maybe together we can free Malaysia. All right. Hell yeah, comedies are absolutely great. And who's funny though? You know, personal taste, brother. I won't recommend anybody. I think most of us are here older, so I will recommend somebody. Go watch. What's his name? Oh, actually, George Carlin. Just gotta go watch some George Carlin. Everybody in this chat's brilliant. Go watch George Carlin. Enjoy some laughs. Enjoy laughing at how right the man is. Chris Rock's funny too. Older comedy though. Look for older comedy. New comedy is just too PC. You know what? Even if you're like pro PC culture, I think it's hard for anybody to claim that comedy during PC paranoia is anything compared to old comedy. Richard Pryor, another great one. Absolutely, guys. But I'm gonna hop off here. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Be sure, if you haven't already, please, I appreciate everybody that hits that like button. It helps out a lot. And I'll see all of you guys in the next one. As always, on Mars. Peace out, guys. Yes, Ron White too, Rochelle. Another great guy. Love Ron White. All right, see you guys.